Are you going to Amsterdam for the first time and wondering what are the best things to do there? Oh, smells like pot. I've been to Amsterdam twice and I can definitely help you with that. Almost like magical. Whether you are a culture enthusiast, history buff, art lover, foodie, shopper, or an agile cyclist, Amsterdam has something for everyone. Without further ado, let me share the top 10 things to do in Amsterdam, especially if you are traveling solo. Number 1 on the list is a Canal Cruise. I mean, what better way is there to kick off your Amsterdam sightseeing? There are various tickets available. If you are a bougie traveler, you might want to rent a private boat and have a more relaxing ride. If you are there to party, you can hop on one of these party boats and grab unlimited drinks. You can also rent a pedal boat if you don't mind doing some exercise. For me, I traveled solo and hopping on a big boat cruise seemed to make the most sense to me. However, here's a caveat. So I got my ticket online and I got my headphone for audio guide. Although they offered a pre-recorded audio guide, I had a hard time hearing it. The headset quality wasn't great. You are in a crowded boat. But if you don't care for the audio guide, the boat tour is still a decent way to get a quick glimpse at Amsterdam.
Maybe right here.
I've linked these tours down in the description below, so make sure to book them in advance. Speaking of tours, this one is a must.
Now I'm in the town of Volendam and looking for my lunch.
Number 2 on the list is taking a half-day tour to the outskirts of Amsterdam to explore authentic Dutch culture and enjoy the beautiful scenery. Here's what you can expect on this tour. You will hop on a tour bus in the city center. Just after a 20-minute ride, you will find yourself in this beautiful recreation of an 18th century Dutch village. All the windmills and wooden houses are historic, and they were relocated here close to Amsterdam so that more people can visit and appreciate the cultural legacy. Wish I had more time here, but this place is a must visit. The next stop is Amsterdam. Amsterdam was once an important port town and its wealth is well reflected in the historic buildings like this. The scale of this town hall and the church from the 15th and 16th century is definitely telling that people in this town had money. On top of that, around the 17th century, Amsterdam became richer by exporting cheese throughout Europe, and I couldn't be more excited to finally taste the authentic Dutch cheese on our next stop.
There's a lot of chickens running around.
The tour took me to one of the cheese producers near Amsterdam. After learning a little bit about how the cheese was made, I got to try their samples.
I'm trying cannabis cheese. Cannabis cheese.
By the way, did I tell you they also make traditional Dutch clogs? Clogs are durable shoes made from wood that were very popular among the farmers and working class people in the past. Today, there are only a handful of people who know how to craft clogs authentically, and you will get to meet one of the few living masters on this tour.
I'm just the most interesting one. Wow, backwards.
Yes, the bottom of the shoes is backwards. And rumor has it, in the past, smugglers used to wear them to leave reverse footprints in muddy soil, so they don't get caught easily. I hope you're not getting any ideas. Next up is Marken. Marken is a fishing village, so I had to check out this food stall that was full of salted, cured, and smoked fish. I chose smoked eel. It was surprisingly good.
Nothing weird, just a little bit smoked and wow, like really nice texture.
I felt so cultured to learn that there's a different way to eat eel other than put teriyaki sauce on it.
Try this.
Lastly, you will visit this picturesque town Broek in Waterland. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. As the name suggests, the town is threaded with a delightful network of canals. Can you imagine what it would look like in the winter when the lake freezes and become a natural ice rink? It was a wonderful stop to end our tour.
It was really satisfying tour.
The guide was very knowledgeable. I highly recommend this tour. We were dropped off on the other side of the Amsterdam River, but all we need to do is just grab that ferry right there, and that will take us to the Amsterdam Central. The ferry was free to use, and no surprise, it was mostly occupied with bicyclists. And let me tell you, they are the most intimidating thing in Amsterdam. You gotta be careful with the bikers. Next thing on my list is to simply dig into Dutch cuisine. And let's be real, don't get too excited. Holland isn't best known for exciting cuisine. With that, there are some staple Dutch foods that we as travelers need to try. My top recommendation for a restaurant is the pantry. I mean, if you're lucky enough to get a table. This casual eatery offers a variety of popular Dutch dishes at a really good price. I ordered the trio hot spot with smoked sausage. Hot spot is boiled potatoes mixed with carrots and onions. It's such a hearty and comforting meal and perfect for a hungry tourist.
It's okay for you?
Really good.
Yes, enjoy. Thank you.
And the owner and the staff are very friendly and welcoming. They make you feel like you are invited to a Dutch home. I finished with a Dutch staple, paffertjes. Sorry, I'm pronouncing it wrong. It's a mini Dutch pancakes served with butter and powdered sugar. It sounds so simple, yet it's really delicious. It was worth the wait. If you want to try more traditional food, this is a local's favorite serving of traditional Dutch food. So I ordered the most traditional looking menu that literally every Dutch person was having in that restaurant. The jumbo white asparagus, served with boiled eggs, ham and potatoes, and melted butter. I also had a shrimp cocktail here, and it was different. The shrimps were tiny and they were cooked. It came with some sauce, probably made with mayo and ketchup. To be honest, these weren't my cup of tea, but I'm glad I tried them. I mean, getting out of your comfort zone and learning a new culture is why we travel, right? On that note, Amsterdam is a melting pot where you can find food from all over the world. I particularly recommend trying Indonesian food in Amsterdam. You know, the Dutch colonized Indonesia over a few centuries, so it's no surprise you can find some great Indonesian food here. Here is the authentic Indonesian food. It's a green curry, but more coconut and a little bit more spicy. This is coconut rice. Wow, kind of sticky and strong coconut flavor. I've never seen this. This is some kind of a tofu, but fried, and it's very sweet. And it has the crunchiness, so excellent. Wow. I'm so tired. I'm so done today. Day 2 is all about exploring the art, culture, and history of Amsterdam. As you probably know, this country is a home to some of the legendary painters such as Rembrandt and Van Gogh. Be sure to catch the night guard at the Rijksmuseum. Immerse yourself in the abundance of rare artwork of Van Gogh. I couldn't go to the Van Gogh museum. It turns out they are sold out for the day. So here's the hard-learned lesson. Get your tickets in advance, especially for this museum I'm about to tell you. Number 5 on the list is to pay a tribute to the Anne Frank House Museum. As you probably know, this museum was the actual building that a young Jewish diarist, Anne Frank, and her family hid from the Nazis for almost 2 years until they got caught. No photography is allowed inside the building, so I don't have much to share with you, but all I can say is that it was such a gut-wrenching and touching experience. So I hope you don't miss out on this opportunity to witness and reflect on one of the dark moments of history. Number 6 on the list takes place in another hidden space, but don't worry, this time there's no dark history behind, but just a really interesting one. What fascinated me most when I first landed in Amsterdam were all these houseboats and water houses. floating on the canal. So when I heard about this Houseboat Museum, I had to check it out. Let's go inside and take a look. Little background here, after World War II, houseboats became increasingly popular due to the house shortage, and this particular boat was also born around the time. Since the early houseboat served both as a cargo ship and a living alternative, the interior space for living was quite small. Mainly, only the front of the boat was used to facilitate a kitchen and bedrooms. Sometimes the back of the ship was used as a guest room. From its humble beginning, the houseboats have come a long way, and today they have become a trendy lifestyle, often furnished with luxury amenities. Within a 10-minute walk from the Houseboat Museum is the Tulip Museum.
This is tulips?
Yeah.
This is tulips? This is tulips? This is tulips? This is tulips?
Yeah, you're gonna see so many of them. I even picked up some tulips that I can grow in New York. And this place is called a museum for a reason. You can learn the origin of tulips, the migration of tulips to the West, and how the Dutchies made them super popular around the world. If the botanical themed housewares are your thing, don't forget to pick up some souvenirs. I've got mine. Next on my list is to visit the Royal Palace. What's unique about this palace is that it wasn't built from the ground up for royalty, but as a town hall in the 17th century. So the palace might be quite modest compared to other European palaces. But this unique history is why you want to visit. The palace is open for most of the year and it is so centrally located that there's no reason to pass up. And here are more places you can visit if you have a longer stay. Heineken Brewery, if you're a fan of Heineken beers. Woodkirk, Amsterdam, if you want to see the oldest building in Amsterdam. NEMO Science Museum, if you are traveling with kids. And the 9th Street, if you are into vintage and boutique shopping. Speaking of shopping, Amsterdam is a great place to shop luxury goods. Whether it's worth spending money on luxury goods or not is totally debatable, and that's just another video. But if you are already in the market for a nice designer bag anyway, it's no-brainer that you should buy it in Europe. As you probably know, in Europe, you pay way less for the same product. The MSRP in Europe is much cheaper if you're from the US, and you can get a tax return on the purchase. You can even save on state tax. I got this Louis Vuitton bag in Amsterdam. The MSRP of this bag was about $500 cheaper in Amsterdam in New York. And I got around $13 back in tax return, which was about $200. Also, I live in New York. The state tax on luxury goods is about 9%. That means if I bought this bag in New York instead of Amsterdam, I would have to pay an additional $150 just in sales tax. So in total, I paid $850 less in Europe for the same product. I personally think that getting a nice designer's bag can be a good investment and practicing sustainable fashion. I mean, you can get it repaired for years to come. You can hand it down to the next generation. But I know, unfortunately, a lot of the luxury brands are turning to fast fashion. And for that reason, if you are boycotting luxury goods, I totally hear you too. Now, last but not least, number 10 on my list is to rent a bike and spend some time in Vondel Park. It's the ultimate urban oasis that is beloved by locals and visitors. And if you want to ride a bike for the first time in Amsterdam, I can't think of a better place than this park to get started. Like I said, the Amsterdammers can be quite intimidating and aggressive bikers to share the road with. Alrighty, that's all I have for Amsterdam. I'm sure I didn't cover everything, so feel free to share other fun things to do in Amsterdam in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit subscribe and give it a like, and check out my other videos of more European cities and the Dutch Caribbean, Curacao. I'll see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching.